All right, gentlemen, how are we doing? Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. I don't know where you're at. I don't know what the time zone is there, wherever you are, but it's good to have you. Thank you so much for joining us. You are live right here at the Mastermind for Men, where we come on a weekly basis just to sharpen one another, to encourage one another, to make sure that we are continuously stretching and change our way of thinking. Why is that? Because that is the key to our success. That's the key to um, for us to go to the next level and to make a difference. Um, it's Wednesday once again, and um, and we're on here to have some fun and to enjoy. Hey, my bro. Let me just bring my brother in here. Hey, bro. How's it doing? All
All
good?
right. Good evening.
Yes,
Thank
sir. Yes,
God.
sir. How are you getting on?
Well, we thank God. We are still standing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you
It
so much
is
for jumping.
fall down.
Yeah, thanks so much for jumping on. Thanks so much for jumping on.
Thank you
At
for
least my voice, at least my voice is much better this week.
yeah.
It doesn't feel like and it doesn't sound like I got a frog in my throat. How's the family? Okay?
Yeah, everybody's fine. How is yours?
Yeah, yeah, we're winning, sir. We are winning. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it, and sometimes it doesn't look like it, but we are winning.
No, there's a powerful song written by a Nigerian.
Okay.
That's the one that's called Waymaker. Um, very popular. I'm sure you know it. One of the lines says, "Even when we can't feel it, is working."
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
we
it.
know.
That's it.
We
Because
know.
this is a walk by faith, isn't it? It's not like
Yeah.
our feelings got nothing to do with it, even though it's sometimes good to get into the feeling part of things. And
Yeah.
even and we don't walk by sight. It feels like sometimes you are drowning. It's like, oh my goodness, oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Mm.
we thank God He continues to keep us. He
Yeah.
continues to keep us.
Absolutely. God is in control.
I'm excited for us to continue our session this evening. I know last week we were talking about environment and the importance of us creating an environment that is very much, or at least pay attention to what our environment looks like, whether it is
Yeah.
conducive for growth. Um, and I believe that's key because we know when we come on here on every week, it's the intention behind it, or even the platform in general, is for us because we after growth, we after getting better, we after improving and change. That's it. And we know the key for change, we know, is kind of like our way of thinking, isn't it? Oh, my bro, you just jumped on. 1 second, let me bring him in. All right, he's still connecting. All right, let's give him some time. Let's give him some time. And we know the key for us to get better, for changing, is what's going on. In between our ears, is paying attention to what's going on in here. That's key. Because as a man thinketh, so easy. It's not a mystery. It's not a mystery. Now, let me see. Oh, there we are. There we are. Mr. Jordan, how are you doing, sir? Good to have you. Thank you so much for jumping on. I think he's still buffering, most probably on that side there.
Yeah.
So what I would like, the direction I'm hoping for us to steer the conversation this evening, um, is I want us to look at courage and confidence. Um, Now, I think most probably in previous sessions we've touched on it multiple times, to be honest, because um, let me just bring him in again there. Because I believe if we really now, I don't want us just to look at this just in a very shallow, because sometimes, we can kind of like, we kind of like say the normal thing, but I want us kind of like to really go where we haven't been before in this session. And I think what will help is if we kind of like share it from a personal perspective. Let me just see if it's okay now.
Connections not.
You are live, sir. Thank you so much. I think you're okay. Let us know if you can hear us. Can you hear us, Mr. Jordan? Okay, not yet. So this evening, what I'm looking for us to do is kind of like, because something becomes real not only to yourself but also to those that we are communicating when we actually attach a life experience to whatever it is that we are talking about. If you like, just if you even say, like, if you want, we can call it a testimony. But I think it's like connecting the concept to an actual experience, because I just want us to have just a conversation this evening, not even about lining up, oh, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do,
Chanel?
but kind of like just let's walk through the different feelings, through the different thinking kind of patterns that we go through when we are confronted with having to be confident or having to be courageous. The reason why I'm saying that is, every day we are faced with things that we feel it's bigger than where we are. We feel like we are at a place where whatever we're trying to accomplish, or whatever we're looking to, or where we're looking to break through, it's kind of like, this is too much for me. I can't handle it, and I want us kind of like just to walk through that kind of like way of thinking, what goes through our minds when we actually experience that. Because I believe, now I don't want to kind of like jump ahead of myself. Andrew, can you hear us, sir? Are you still connecting? Okay, still connecting. I don't want to jump ahead of myself, but it's kind of like having to think through whether it is an experience that we had a month ago, a year ago, 3 years or 5 years ago. It doesn't matter, but just something that is which is quite tangible. So I don't know what's your thinking on that, sir. Just to get a feel, but just to give the guys some time to jump on.
Absolutely, it's a very good one that we are going to be talking about tonight: courage and confidence. I think with this one, so the best way to look at this is from the standpoint of having something to, clarity in mind, clarity of the mind. Because sometimes we don't act because we don't have a very good perspective. We don't have a very good understanding of what that situation is. But when we understand that where we are, the only way it's going to change is by doing something. As you're saying, we use real life experiences and so on and do it. When I finished my degree, and we had to do what they call national service in Nigeria, where you go and sort of serve the nation. They do some paramilitary training, and then they send you into organizations to go and serve. So they call you a youth corps. So that's what you do as part of being a youth from university. They send you to schools to teach, to places. So I got sent to Guinness Breweries. Okay. Because I studied engineering, so it's a good place for me to go to and learn a bit more. But when I got there, they rejected me. That's what most organizations would do, because you have to pay me as well. So it's like an imposition of this particular candidate on your company, because they have skills, but you can get those skills at a very low rate. You don't pay them graduate salaries. You pay them something, like somebody who is still training. So when they posted me there, I had to, I got there and they said, no, they won't have me. And then I became homeless, because you go into a camp, you spend 2 weeks in the camp, you have a home provided by the government, not a home, a dormitory. And then after that, they post you to where you're going. Those people will then help you to arrange accommodation and everything, so you have somewhere to live, because you would normally be posted away from your state. So if you come from Cape Town, they will post you to Johannesburg. If you come from Newcastle, they'll post you to London.
Yeah,
it's a way of cross-cultural, mixing up the people, so you understand how others live. I didn't have any choice, and that's where I was talking about clarity of mind. Clear understanding of what your situation is. Going home was not an option, because why am I going to go home? It costs a lot of money to go home. So I managed, I slept rough a couple of days. Someone allowed me to sleep where they walk and so on. And I thought about it. What can I do? You know what I did? I didn't have, because I knew that I did not have a choice. Because I knew I had to go to the governor's office. Then it was a military role in Nigeria. So you don't even start thinking of going to see the governor, because there's no democracy. Of course, dictatorship, what it does in those environments. I had to go. I went the first day, and because if he was a naval officer, the guy was a naval officer, so he will have all the naval officers guarding him. If you're a military in the army, you have army officers guarding you. So when I got there, this guy said, no, that this is not a matter for the governor, this and that. I left that day. Second day I came. He said, oh, I thought I told you yesterday, don't come here. This is not for the governor. If they have not, if they've not accepted you, you need to go back to the youth corps office so that they can repost you elsewhere. On the third day, you will not believe I went back. So the guy told me, he was very angry. He was all those. And then when I kept quiet, I waited for him to finish. Now, bearing in mind, this is like a military cantonment. It's governor's house, but it's all guarded by military people, because the guy was a ranking military officer, as they do. When there's a boss, the whole place will be filled by military officers. So I waited for the guy to finish. I said to him, I wish you could stop me. He was shocked. He was shocked. He said, okay, you need to come in. I came in. He said, well, since you have refused to listen, I will allow you to go in. But this man does not like people who come in and speak, bad English. You have to go there and represent yourself well, and make sure you know why you're there, and you can go straight to the point. I said, yes. That's how I went in. Got to see the ADC, because they had submitted my letter that I wrote before I came in. So he said, oh, that the governor will look at it and so on, that I should come back tomorrow. The fourth day I went back. Would you believe? I got the letter. They offered to give me some military men to go to Guinness, just in case I have problems entering. Wow. So the guy, I've spoken to them. They are waiting for you. But if you're not sure, if you're not confident to go on your own, I can give you some military men so that you can go with them, so that they will allow you to go in. I said, no, if you've called them, that's fine. That's fine for me. Thank you very much, sir. I got there. By the time I got there, the director of HR was waiting for me. He took me by hand into his office. Oh, you didn't tell us that the governor was your brother. We would have, because we have good relationships with the governor, we would have done something.
Okay.
That's how I got that. That's how I got that placement. Automatic, straight like that. Why am I telling this story? Sometimes we believe that we have so many options. We don't put ourselves in that state of we have nothing to lose. You go there, you ask, and say, and people, the way you go to ask, people are looking at you. People are watching your body language. People are checking if you really want this thing that you say you're looking for. It's only when they see that this person, no, I don't think I can discourage them. That's when they bring you closer. And if you've ever dealt with all these multimillionaires, the first contact you have with them, they push you away. They try and keep you at arm's length because they don't know you. They don't know you. They need that time to watch you, to see the type of person you are. You persistent?
That's
You know,
right.
are you going to be bold enough to come back, even though I've spoken to you in a way that is disrespectful, even though I've spoken to you in a way that will make you feel very, very low?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and when you persist, you see them. They'll bring you into the fold gradually, and you'll get there. And that's my story of courage and confidence. It's all based on knowing that, you know, understanding the situation that really, in most cases, in fact, for anything that is worth getting, you have got to chase it, pursue it like there is no option two.
That's right.
And the people around you will see that you don't have any option two. And when they see that there is no option two, it's just like when you have a child, and that's a lesson we can learn from children. If your child wants something, yeah, they start crying. Yeah. If you watch the process, you will shout and do everything and give them some other thing and then try and pacify them. If they really want what they want, even if it is 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, they will continue to cry.
Yeah, that's it.
Until you give them that thing.
Yeah, yeah.
They say they want you to carry them. Even if you take them to McDonald's and bring them back and make them finish McDonald's, they will never stop crying.
Because that's not what they wanted. They didn't want McDonald's.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So why do we grow up now and we don't want to be like that?
That's right.
Because that's what nature, that's what life, even God. If you look at the stories from the Bible, the woman of the issue of blood, what happened?
Yeah.
To so many people, she wanted to present herself properly, but there was no space. She had to go and find a way and made up her mind to say, if I can go. So she was willing. She was willing to take any heat that's coming out of it, as long as that her target is heat. You look at the young man whose friend was sick. There was no way to get into the house. They had to go and destroy the roof to break their friend.
Yeah, yeah.
Normally we would say, you know, surely Jesus should be very angry. Why are you destroying somebody's house when you want help? Why are you opening their roof?
That's right.
But he saw that determination. He saw that determination. And, you know, this because we feel like we've let down ourselves, or it's going to be, we should be ashamed and so on. You think the prodigal son, he made up his mind. He was ready to be ridiculed. He said, even if he ends up being one of the servants, it takes a lot of guts to do that.
Yeah.
One choice that he has. He is going there, and he didn't mind what the outcome was. Whether it means that I become one of the servants, I will even eat better than eating pig's food from where I'm coming. Yeah. And that's, you know, these are my stories. These are my examples of being in that situation. And I'm not saying it because there aren't parts of my life that I'm not being bold, that I'm not being bold enough. No, there are parts in my life, but this is just to encourage us and encourage me now that I've reminded myself of a victory that I've had in the past by being courageous and confident to pursue something and what the results could be.
Wow, man, that's an amazing story, bro. That's really an amazing story. And I kind of just like the way that you put it on. There's a couple of things that you've mentioned. Right at the beginning, you mentioned something about clarity, because I think when we are very clear on what it is that we're after, because you knew that this is what you want, this is what you're after. And I think when we are clear on whatever the end goal is, it kind of like both that, like you're not being distracted, okay, this is what I'm after. So I'm charging it with confidence, and it kind of like puts you in that position where you know that I'm going to have to be courageous here, because if I know that this is what I want, I'm going to have to step out, and I'm going to have to step up. And because one of the things that I kind of like wanted to find out from you, so when you initially like kind of like went through that process, what was your initial, I know it might be a while ago, but what kind of thoughts were you just kind of, because there's something that you said that you said to the guy, I wish you would stop me. Now, obviously, to say something like that, what kind of for a frame of mind were you in? Did you say that out of anger? Did you say that out of boldness? Did you say that because you know that this guy couldn't? Because I think sometimes when we get certain things accomplished, yeah, we don't really pay attention to our thinking, the pattern. It's like you only when you come out on the other side, oh, how did that happen? So I don't know whether you kind of like paid attention to what made you say or what made you behave or act in that specific way to get that specific result. I know I'm just kind of like throwing it back on you.
Yeah, no. That's fine. I mean, it was clear to me what I wanted. It was clear to me that I couldn't get what I wanted if I didn't do what I did. You know, I was at a place where I had only one option. And the only option that I could accept was going into where I was posted, because I know that I was posted there.
Yeah.
And I know that you know, that's the way the country works. You've got to know somebody before you get what you have. And you know, you get to that stage where you're just pissed off with the whole system to say, oh, so right now I am the biggest person that can fight for myself. And once you understand that, you know, sometimes we only begin to grow when we're left on our own. When we know, for example, that at the end of this month, our rent, our mortgage, our bills, all those things will be paid by us. There's a certain confidence that comes with it. You know, it's totally different. But when you know that, you know, I can call my dad or my mom, and, you know, if I'm 500 pounds short, they'll put it together and send it to me. You know, there's something that you lose when you're fighting for something. But when you know that the end of the month is coming without a shadow of doubt, then you do anything you need to do to get the money, to get that breakthrough, or to get that opportunity that you would need to get that money.
That's right.
And that's exactly where I was then, where, you know, you go to university and your parents have spent everything they have. They don't even have any money anymore. And now this is your opportunity to go out there and start making money. And luckily, you've been posted to a place where you can make some money and you can at least start building your career from, to have a better future. And somebody standing in the way of it. You know, personally, it wasn't about anger. It was about conviction. You know, when you just take that stand and say, this is where I stand. There's a situation where you see, you know, we're all married. There are certain things your wife will say, and you know that, you know, like the signature. It's the signature statement. Once, you know, she talks like that, then the best thing is just to shut up and keep walking. Maybe another month or two, you can bring it up again. You bring up later today, tomorrow, next week, or, you know, if you don't want the fire to start, that sort of thing. So that was the type of place I got myself, because I wasn't fighting who was in front of me. I was fighting for my future. I was fighting for my life.
That's
you
right.
know,
That's right.
And therefore, it's nothing to do with anger. It's that strength of heart and confidence to say, this is what I want, and nobody.
Yeah, that's it. So you're just breaking up there. You were just breaking up there for 2 seconds. Yeah, but I absolutely hear where you're coming from, because one of the things that I do. Hey, Mr. Jordan, thank you so much for jumping on. We know you had some technical issues, but it's good to have you. Good to have you, bro. Can you hear us nicely? Well, we can't hear you. Say it again.
I think it's the earpiece. If you can,
maybe if you just put it on the phone and lose the AirPods, then you might be able to connect. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you are, sir. Welcome. Good to have you. Thank you so much. Welcome to the land of the living.
Yeah,
technical issues, but we carry on.
I know. But yeah, so this evening we kind of like just touching on. We're just talking about confidence and courage. And Chidozie was just sharing with us some practical life experience that he went through. Because what we're trying to do in this evening session is kind of like link the concept of confidence and courage to and bind that to an actual experience that each and every one of us has gone through. Because sometimes we kind of like just come on here, maybe we can just kind of like go through bullet points and we can just like say this and this and this is what you need to do.
Absolutely.
But if you link that to somebody's actual experience, I think it is more powerful. So I don't know whether you've heard any of Chido's experience that he shared with us just now. But I just want you to think through maybe and just share with us whenever you're ready. Maybe something that you went through where you know that you had to exercise confidence, you had to exercise courage, because we know that that's something that is part of our daily life, even though that might not be very conscious about it, or not very much aware of it, because sometimes we can walk in some kind of an attitude, but we don't even know what we can't really put a name to it because we're not paying attention. Now, a couple of things that Chido was mentioning that I just kind of like just want to emphasize on again is it was clarity. He was clear on what you said. You were very clear on what it is that you were after. Now, one of the characters that also kind of like jump out to me when we're talking about courage is obviously the famous Joshua that had to take over from Moses, because most of the time when we have to employ a courage is when we feel like whatever that is in front of us. We lost him again. Lord help him. Thank you so much that he technology is something else, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, you'll be back when it's ready. So I just lost my train of thought there. It's Joshua, and one of the things that you and I will usually experience, where we need to kind of like employ courage, is when we face certain things that are bigger than ourselves, things that we feel like we are not able. We kind of like, if you can put it in this way. Especially connecting it, for example, to let me talk about my experience. Something that always are very vivid in my memory, where I can actually see the change from where I was, and kind of like in the person which I become to evolve into over the years. Because I remember at our church, I was asked to I don't know if you guys are familiar with home cells. It's like, the church say, all right, can you start a group there, with friends or people that bring them into your house and kind of like just have them and just have a conversation about the message that was shared on Sunday. That is an experience that it kind of like haunted me for months. I'll tell you why. Because I felt like, when you are being stretched, when you are being put in a place where you are sweating in all kind of places, just because you scared. Yeah. And when I was asked to do that, me and members were asked to do that. So we had some friends over, and we had some just friends basically that was going to the same church that we were going. But the thing is, just think about this. You having a conversation about the word or about preaching. I'm just going to put you on mute there for a second, sir. Having a conversation about the word or preaching with people that you talk to every single day. But suddenly now you are put in a position to say, I take these guys, take them into your house, talk about the word. I'm telling you, it was an experience that I felt like I just want the earth to swallow me up. Now, and I asked myself, why was that? it's not like I was standing on a stage or anything like that. It's not like I was in a place that was foreign. I was sitting in my own house, eating my own biscuit and cake and drinking my own Kool-Aid. But yet I was so scared. I was so afraid that, and when I kind of like think back on that right now, it goes back to the confidence that I had within myself. Number one, I did not think I was able. So what I'm saying, one of the reasons why we sometimes fail to be courageous is because of a lack of self-confidence, because you feel that you are not able to do what is required. But I want to put a spin on that, because being courageous, I believe, is us doing something whilst we are afraid. I think that's the thing that we need to kind of like be very clear on. You are not courageous because you are without fear. You are not courageous. You are not courageous because now you're feeling that, oh, everything is going to be fine. No, you are, whilst you are doing it, you are scared. And I think that's kind of like so the question that we have to ask ourselves, especially when you know there's something that you know that you're supposed to do. Why? I might not know why I'm scared. I might not know why I have a lack of confidence. But the stage that we need to cross is, I'm going to do this thing whilst I'm afraid. I'm going to do it. And what I've come to experience is, because we were doing it like at least every other week or once a month. And the more, and my experience was, the more I got into it, the more I did it, the more I was exposed to that environment of coming out of my comfort zone, the more confidence was developed. It's like, oh, that was not too bad. You know, and I think, me thinking back on that now, I know you guys are thinking, Kendrick, what's the big deal? Bruh, if you knew how I felt at the time, because remember, all of us, we are and we were on different levels at the time when we're experiencing things, certain things that challenge our confidence, that challenge our level of courage. I remember even when I was asked to lead one of the media team groups, because we were doing media within church. And they say, Kendrick, can you be the leader for this group here? I was like, leading what? Leading who? Where to? But when I'm thinking back right now, one of the greatest things that you and I can do is, without overthinking certain things, you kind of like have to just jump into it and just do it. I know you might say, well, yeah, but that sounds simple. I'm telling you, that's my experience. It's kind of like, because what we do sometimes, we overthink things, and we kind of like, I'm going to just put you on mute there, sir. And kind of like trying to process, how this is going to go. What? No, it's kind of like, just, if you're scared of the camera, just switch the camera on and just start talking, man. And just like, okay. And I think the key is, I'm talking obviously for myself, the key is, when I get, especially where I am right now, especially when I get to a place where I realize, Kendrick, don't be afraid to be yourself. It's almost like something rises up, because you realize, now I don't have to pretend to be somebody else. I don't have to try to sound eloquent, even because this boy can cut the king, and now it's not the queen's language, now it's the king's language. Now I can cut it nicely, but the thing is, that you are a work in progress, and you have that confidence. You can talk like, even exactly what where you are and what is what it's all about. But in the meantime, that you are growing, that you still need to improve in certain areas. And that continues to build courage. That continues to, or not build courage, but causes you to act in courage, which means move whilst you are afraid, and it continues to build confidence. So for me, it's about paying attention what my thoughts are when I'm scared. What am I thinking when I'm scared? Because I think that's for me, that's the key. There's something else that you also mentioned, Chido. You said that you realize that your life depends on this. This is because now your future, you had to do. It's not just like something that you kind of like just doing because, oh, mama and daddy put money down here. It costs something. And so there are certain factors that will play a role, that will cause you and I to act in a specific way, because we know what the costs are, we know what the implications are. But if we are kind of like la-di-da, we kind of like just take things very lightheartedly, then our action will correspond with our attitude towards that specific situation. So, he's still trying to connect. So what I want to encourage you guys with is this, that to pay less attention to the way we feel, because the feeling will change once you and I are actually in the midst of that thing that is scaring us, that you and I are afraid of. Any thoughts from your side, sir?
No, absolutely. Now you've talked about the fear part of it. Most times, there is a popular saying by Brian Tracy that success is when opportunity meets preparation.
Yeah.
So it's got to be a very constant part of us to continue to learn. It's got to be a very, very constant part of our daily routines to ensure that we're learning something, because most of these opportunities, they will not announce themselves.
No,
they won't. The first time in real life I met a billionaire was where I went to speak. I'd finished speaking. There was this elderly gentleman that was sitting beside me. So when I came back, he said, "Oh, Chidozie, that was good." And I'm talking about preparation here. It took me 3 days of constant rehearsal of that particular content. So when I hit the stage, I delivered it to the point, and you could just see the impact, because the reaction from the crowd was amazing. So I finished. I came down to sit down. The guy said, "Oh, Chidozie, that was very good." We sat down and we started talking. He wanted to understand a little bit about me, and obviously the normal thing to do is to try and find out a bit about him. He said he's 75. I said, "Oh my goodness, what?" He said, "But he's still on the road. He's still seeking. He's still looking for opportunities."
Wow.
This and that. He started telling me, "Oh, I started my first business. I grew that one to where I had an extra 28 million pounds to start this new one now that's now in billions." He said their monthly payments that they processed was over 2 billion pounds.
Wow.
I said, "Oh my God." I said, so how many people own shares in the company? He said, "Nobody owns anything because I built it from the scratch myself." So he's own company. I said, "Oh my goodness." Now, the point I'm trying to make there is I got that opportunity because I did a good job. That's from preparation. One of the things I could have done is to be scared, and that fear has always a foundation on work that was supposed to be done that was not done. If you think about it, if you're going for an interview and you're scared of the interview, you compare yourself to the interviews you go to in an area that you're very strong. You come into the room, you're bouncing. You're bold. You don't care what they're going to ask you.
Yeah.
Because you have been there. You've done what you said you've done. You don't need anybody to show you this or show you that. There's nothing that you think they're going to ask you there that will show you off balance. You walk into the room differently. But if you've not done the work, that's how fear will envelop the person.
That's why.
It will stop you from doing anything. So it's important that as we pursue boldness, courage, and confidence, that we don't forget this ingredient of ensuring that we are prepared. Always prepared. Because we don't know. The opportunities that we're going to meet are not going to be announced. Imagine if it was announced that I was going to meet a person like that. Maybe I wouldn't even go to speak. Now, those minds will come and say, what exactly are you going to be teaching a billionaire? Are you out of your mind? Are you what's wrong with you? But on the other hand, if you're going to talk about a topic that you're very confident that you've studied, that you understand to the core, then you're not scared. You're going to go out there, you stand, whoever is sitting there, even if it's the president of the world, you stand there and you give a testimony of yourself, by doing a good job. The fear will disappear. And the other side is physical exercise. Physical exercise. You cannot, when you find yourself lacking courage and confidence, it doesn't jump out as one thing that you need to invest in before you regain those. As much as it's important that you prepare yourself professionally in that area that you're pursuing, whatever it is that you're pursuing, it's also very crucial that you keep your body in a top shape so that when you go out there, you're talking, your brain is pumping, everything is just going for it. It's hard for me to say, I have a speaking engagement without me running. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to run until my legs stop moving. And when I go through all those routines, when I hit the stage, anything you want, your brain will just be pumping it out like that. But if you're going to sit down and be lazy, and then you're going to want confidence and so on. Even Apostle Paul talked about it, about physical exercise. That's very important. Renewal of our mind. That's renewal of our understanding, because your mind will operate based on your understanding. If you keep your current understanding, then you're not renewing your mind. Your mind has got to have a routine whereby new things come into your mind, and then you can build on that. You build on that. You couple that with physical exercise, fear will disappear, courage will come, confidence will come. Everywhere you go, you smash it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So thank you so much for sharing that. And I kind of like, it kind of like just brings us back to, because there's a certain thinking that goes behind. Because remember now you were talking about the one thing, which is preparation. Is we can't because once you are when you prepared, what does that? It produces confidence. So you're like, all right, I'm ready to go. Let's just roll. And most of the time, the reason why we are maybe lacking confidence or we are walking in fear, like you're saying, is because we just did not prepare. We're not ready. Now, I just want to share a couple of thoughts and just kind of like just bounce it off each other and just hear where we go with this. When it comes to courage. Because one of the things that is courage is a choice, isn't it?
Yes.
It's you. I have to choose to be courageous.
Yeah.
It won't just come because when the opportunity presents itself, number one, I am prepared, but now. There are certain opportunities that will come that did not announce itself, which means preparation is something that's supposed to be happening behind the scenes all the time.
Yes.
The time be happening behind the scenes. Because if an unannounced opportunity shows up and you kind of, you lose out on that opportunity. Why? Because number one, we were not prepared, and now because I know that I wasn't prepared, I won't act courageous.
Yeah.
So when the choice comes or is put in front of me, and usually it comes and it hits you in the blind spot, isn't it? It's like when you don't expect it. The opportunity for us to be courageous.
Yeah.
How would you say we should? Because there's one thing to just go, because I don't know if you heard the saying where especially like from a business perspective where they would say like, all right, when somebody says, all right, can you do this for me? And my goodness, I have no idea how to do this. Because maybe you say, Laura, this is what we're specializing in, but now if somebody would say, now obviously this, you have a choice now, isn't it, to say, all right, let's go for it. But already you have no idea how this is going to happen. But for me now to be able to cash in here, I say, yeah, let's run with it, because already that most of the stuff that you and I will deliver or do are not done by ourselves as personally. It's because it will happen because of who we know, who we are connected to and stuff. But the thing is now, if I don't have that kind of thinking, I won't be able to make that decision make that choice to be courageous. Why is that? Because you think that everything that you need to produce is supposed to be on the inside of you, or it should be done by your own hands. So what are your thoughts on that? Because I think we can basically do anything, to be honest. But that's the way of thinking. Because if I think I can't do anything, it's because you think that it falls back on you as an individual. That's why relationships is so important. That's why having a great team is so important. Because I can then boldly say, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
Because I know I can say that with courage and with confidence, because I know that I might not know how this specific thing needs to be done, but I know people that know how to get it done. Yeah. I know somebody that know how to get it done. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so that takes us back to the point of preparation. Yeah. That's where it takes us back to. I've spoken to so many people. I've seen it written in so many places that most of the things we study in school, in university, in secondary, or whatever, we never ever get to use it afterwards. And my argument is, we need to understand what education does for us. Any form of formal education, what it does for us is to create that structure. It creates that discipline that we need to be able to solve problems. Yeah. Be able to set timelines, be able to set goals. If it's a 2 years course, that's why there is a timing for each of the courses. If it's a GCSE, you have to do 5 years and then you do your GCSE. A child at 15 or 16 in this country or has been put through that goal setting lesson. Yeah. Forget about what the content was. But the big thing that you learn from there is you now learn that this thing takes 5 years. You spent 5 years. At the end of it, you need to live with something. The same way, the same thing applies to every other type of education, university education. Whatever it is that is in the content, you see that once you get to that A level, to university, to master's, to PhD level, what you're now learning is how to solve a problem. Yeah. That's what you're learning. So you finish and you leave the university with that skill of knowing that, in life, I'll be presented with problems. And when I get presented with problems, the expectation is that I have been trained to analyze the problem and look for a solution. That's why it's hard for you to, it's impossible for you to graduate without doing something they call a project or a dissertation. Because that's a problem that is defined. You're going to go out there and do some research and find out solutions. Now, again, forget about the content, forget about whatever. you learned in the process of doing that. I'm talking about building that structure independently and walking yourself through from when you define that problem to when you now walked until you found out solutions and conclusions and so on.
That's right.
You see, once you're equipped with that, most of us then leave university and we stop solving problems. We stop setting tasks for ourselves so that we can continue to solve problems, so that we get used to solving problems. What happens when we do that is that skill disappears. And we now start pushing it back to the universities or the schools and saying, oh, all these things I learned has no impact on me. But that's not true. Because if we had continued to use that, you find that whatever situation you find yourself, you're going to see that as a problem. It's the same approach. It's just like driving a car. Peugeot, Mercedes, BMW, Fiat, Suzuki. When you go in there, once you've passed your driving test, all you need is to find out, how does the gear work in this car? Or how do we operate this car? You go in there, you can drive the car.
That's right.
That's how it works. But if we don't take a step back and begin to task ourselves whether there's an external problem that needs solving or not, and begin to become problem solvers, then when tasks come, we're going to say, oh, we can't do it. And by the way, most of the entrepreneurs that you know, they will tell you, if anybody asks you if you can do something, please say yes. Richard Branson is very, very good at that. That's what he will say 100 times. Virgin Atlantic, that's how it was started. Stranded, no flight. He chartered a flight, collected money from people, paid for the flight. That's Virgin Atlantic. Yeah. He could have just sat on the corner there and blamed the airline and said, you know, these guys, you're useless, you're this, you're that, you're that. But that was an opportunity. It was an opportunity, and he knew his capability. And he seemed to be one person who has continued to look for problems to solve. Because sometimes we run away from these things. We're lazy. We try and avoid the hard path. We try and avoid the hard path. There was this my very old gentleman, a reverend gentleman that was my friend. He passed away many years ago. When he passed away, I went to his house, and his Bible, he had only one quotation on top of it. That quotation said, "It is a fearful thing to fall into the wrath of God." Now, we know that we are created for a purpose. That's a fact. We are created for a purpose. If you went and bought a car, for example, and you want to use that car to go to work or to go from point A to point B, and for the past 6 months you've not succeeded in using that car to go from point A to point B, what do you think you will do? So you're thinking of a God who created us for a purpose, and we continue to live our lives where we don't recognize that purpose. That is really, really important. That it's not really a joke. This is serious business, because God is a businessman. He knows why we are here. We have our own portions of what we need to build in this life. And every day that passes without us accomplishing that does not give him joy. So what is it that we need then to begin to do? We have got to continue to apply ourselves so that when that opportunity comes, we can strike. And by the way, most of these opportunities, they will come when you're ready. They will come when I am ready. Because it's only when I am ready that God will give. That's why some of us are still poor. We can't, because we don't know how to manage $1 million. If we're given $1 million now, we might even go crazy. You know, not because of what we ate or what we, or drugs or anything. Just the fact that there is that money sitting in the account, we won't be able to sleep. But if we begin to exercise our skills, our talents, whatever it is that we've been given, we begin to exercise all those and begin to produce results. Because it is by using what we've been given that God will create more opportunities. That's why if you look at the parable of the talents in the Bible, the people who were able to use their talents efficiently were given more. And the people who didn't, what they had was removed. That's a New Testament. Just in case whoever will be listening to this will think that I'm referring to an Old Testament concept. No, this is a New Testament concept. So if we live with that consciousness that we are here to solve problems, that we need to prepare ourselves to solve problems, that we need to begin to act optimally in such a way that whoever created us, we are walking in that purpose for which we have been created.
That's right.
Then we will have all the motivation, we'll have all the courage, we'll have all the confidence to pursue, because it's very, very fearful to disappoint God, who has given us all these great things.
That's it. That's it. Wow, that's awesome, sir. That's awesome. I just want to mention a couple of things here as we wrap it up, because we're pretty much on the top of the hour. One of the things or a couple of things here regarding courage is, number one, courage will give you will give you it will give us energy. When we act courageous, you kind of like know that you're outside yourself in terms of you're doing something now that is not in the norm, and that will produce some energy. So that's why we need to we kind of like try and operate, or step into things that we're scared of, or that we feel like we can't do that on a regular basis, right? Because that will produce energy. It will also courage is also contagious. When people around you see that, whoa, wow, this stuff that Kendrick is doing, this stuff that Chido is doing, is, my goodness, I need to step out also and just do something that doesn't look like I'm being left behind, because it's contagious.
Yeah.
Because when you hang around people that kind of like do the extraordinary, you are motivated, you are encouraged to be courageous. And you kind of like, it's almost kind of like they're lighting the fire on under your backside. It's like, all right, Kendrick, look what we're doing. I know that you are scared, or you're feeling that you are not able, but you are well able. Just go, just put the fear aside, or not even put the fear aside. Just move in the midst of fear, and you will see it will work out okay. So which means it's important for us to kind of like surround ourselves with people that we can see now, these guys are doing something that are not normal. Because we already said that courage is a choice, and also courage will make you consistent. Because now you know that I've got to stay on this thing. I need to make, because the thing is, to gain even more confidence and be more courageous in the thing that you're uncomfortable with, it will kind of like produce that consistency. Because if I don't stay on this thing, it can just begin to slip. So that's a good way to kind of like build consistency. And the other thing that I want to mention is courage will give you experiences, because now most of the time we will do things that we haven't done before where courage is involved, isn't it? Absolutely. So which means it gives you new experiences, it gives you new lessons that you've learned, and new improvements, things that it gives you new skills. So we should not take it for granted. So maybe the topic, whatever it is you spoke about this evening, being courage and confidence, you might think, okay, we've heard this before. This is paramount for our success, because unless we build that habit of doing things that makes us feel uncomfortable or in the midst of discomfort, we won't go. We won't go. Obviously, like especially now, as a mastermind for men, there's this group. There are some stuff that we are working on right now in the background. Some stuff that we kind of like trying to do for next year, that puts us way out of our comfort zone. It's like, really, and we kind of like, and it's like, is this not even going to work? But the thing is, we don't know. We just gotta like act on certain things, and whatever it is that we feel in our heart that is the right thing to do, that will help many of the guys on here, many that will continue to listen and be exposed to this content. we just got to do what we have to, regardless of how we, because remember now, we are here individuals on here, and we are here on as a team, but not everyone is at the same level. So which means everybody, wherever they are at, will be stretched. And
Yes.
And I just wanted to encourage you guys. Listen, this week, do something that freak you out of your pants, man. That scares you.
Yeah.
Do something that makes you realize, oh my goodness, if I do this, I know where it can take me.
Yeah.
But God help me. Just let me just switch on that camera, or let me just go pick up that phone, or let me just call it.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Success lives beyond your comfort zone.
That's it.
And just before we wrap up, it's very important that I add this one. You know, there is an adage where from where I come from, they said, if your father sent you to go and steal, you will use your feet to kick down the door.
Yeah.
As funny as it sounds, we need to understand who has sent us. And that's Joshua 1:8 about courage and so on. The Lord was trying to reassure Joshua that you're not just going on your own.
Yeah.
You're not going on your own. So as we begin to look at courage and confidence, just remember who has sent us in this journey, who has sent us to achieve these things, who has sent us to make this impact. Maybe if you weren't conscious of that in the past, let's begin this week, like Kendrick has said, let's begin to stay conscious of that and push ourselves out there. You know, if we win, we win. If we don't win, who cares? Who cares? It doesn't matter. You would have learned something for yourself. If someone laughs, you've made somebody happy by looking at someone being foolish, like me. You know, it's still something. You still get blessed by being foolish and failing, and somebody laughing because you failed. It's win-win. It's win-win. Let's step out of our comfort zone this week. I am committing myself to it as well, and I'm hoping that we'll all commit ourselves to it and do something, and just watch how our trajectories will change. And I don't have any fear that things will change if we begin to push ourselves outside our comfort zone.
That's right. Awesome. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Mr. Chido, thank you so much for taking all the time, sir. We do not take it for granted. It's always good to have you on here, because you always challenge our thinking, you always stress us, and you always make us, have a paradigm shift in how we look at things. Gentlemen, as you finish watching this, go out this week and act on that request to do something different, something new that you're afraid of, and listen here, because growth is our responsibility, and we are after success, and we are after improvement in every area of our lives. All right, have an amazing week, and go out and prosper. All right, see you guys soon, and
thank you. Guys, God bless you.
All right. Have a great week. All right. Cheers.
Really appreciate it. Thank you. Bye-bye.